These are the stories topping the news. Consultation allows stakeholders to participate in crafting of the annual budget. Farmers warned deadly virus could damage Jamaica pig industry. And first Ebola diagnosis in the U.S. Good afternoon and welcome to ZIZ Midday Newscast for October 1st, 2014. I'm Carla Berridge. Now the news in detail. The final plans are in place for the annual national consultation on the economy on Thursday morning at the Marriott Resort. The consultation is the process through which the government views, hears suggestions and critiques of the plans for the public. It is held prior to the presentation of the annual budget. Speaking during his weekly radio call-in program as the Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas pointed out that it was his St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration that held the first consultation 17 years ago. He said that it must be remembered that until his St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration took office in July 1995, no other government in the country's history had ever allowed anyone to directly question, critique, support, or oppose the Prime Minister within the earshot of the entire nation, or, thanks to the internet access, any interested party anywhere in the world. The theme of Thursday's national consultation on the economy is Keeping the Edge, Energizing Growth and Human Development. It begins at 9 a.m. Commissioner of Police Dr. Selvin G. Walwyn joined law enforcement and other experts from around the world in Hanoi, Vietnam last week for a three-day International Intellectual Property IP Crime Conference. Organized by the International Criminal Police Organization Interpol, some 500 officials attended the September 23rd to 25th meeting, where delegates exchanged ideas and reviewed best practices on detecting and combating counterfeit goods. Walwyn represented the Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police, ACCP, which has 24 member states. He gave insight into the discussions.
The purpose of this meeting was to educate law enforcement on the abundance of counterfeit products in the worldwide market. Here in St. Kitts, we found that we have certain businesses that display and sell counterfeit product right here in our own federation, and we have to address the situation. We were taught by Interpol how to approach this, how to identify the product, and how to conduct the investigations with the support of the owners of the intellectual property.
Some persons opt to buy counterfeit products because they are typically sold at prices lower than the original item. However, the Commissioner said this can be dangerous. He referenced a case of counterfeiting that became a threat to public safety.
Trinidad and Tobago, last year, they had 4 house fires and the people died in those fires. And it was determined based on the arson investigation that the cause was the counterfeit Christmas lights because they don't have the same integrity as the originally manufactured items. I know Puerto Rico, they had that incident in the Dominican Republic. They were making Viagra pills for men. And the Viagra pills were really sawdust compressed into the shape of a pill. And they took, those cigarette mixers, those portable ones, they would fill that with blue paint and dump the pills in there, and they turned blue, and they would sell them as Viagra.
Products reportedly did not find their way into the local market. While the police will work with the Customs and Excise Department in tackling these issues, Commissioner Walwyn said there are precautions that persons can take.
The public should only go to areas where they know are legit to buy their product. The doctor sends you to a pharmacy. Go to a natural pharmacy. Do not buy product on the internet because you don't know what's in it. You don't know the integrity of the substances that you put into your body. So you need to make sure if you get a prescription, buy it local.
Parliamentary representative for Nevis 11, the parishes of St. Thomas and St. James, the Honourable Patrice Nisbet, has received a ringing endorsement from a division residing in the United States Virgin Islands. Dillis Brown, formerly of Newcastle Nevis in the St. James Parish, has called on all Nevis 11 constituents to throw their support behind Minister Nisbet. She was at the time speaking with ZIZ News about Nisbet's recent address to the United Nations General Assembly.
I want to take this opportunity to call on all of the people of St. James's to let's continue to lift up the Honourable Patrice Nisbet and commend him highly for his great works and selfless efforts he puts out, not only for his constituency, but for the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. May God continue to give him the strength to continue his good work.
The Honourable Patrice Nisbet is expected to contest the upcoming general election for the Nevis Reformation Party. He will compete against Concerned Citizens Movement's Honourable Alexis Jeffers. In regional news, the Jamaican Pig Farmers Association, JPFA, is urging farmers not to dismiss lightly a deadly virus first diagnosed in the United States last year that could severely damage the local pig industry. JPFA President Delroy Mania said his organization has been holding several meetings with the Veterinary Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and updating members on the virus blamed for the deaths of more than 7 million pigs in the United States since it was detected in April last year. Chief Executive Officer of Jamaican Broilers Group, Chris Levy, has also warned farmers not to take the threat of the virus lightly, as it has also spread rapidly across Canada, resulting in a pork shortage. Mexico and Dominican Republic are also reporting cases of the virus. In Dominica, stakeholders of the agricultural sector, including farmers, processors, financial institutions, and other non-governmental organizations, met at the Fort Young Hotel to officially kick off the third component of an agriculture policy program for the island. We hear more in this report.
This Agriculture Policy Program, or APP, is a project funded by the 10th European Development Fund and implemented by partnerships between the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation, the Caribbean Agriculture for Research and Development Institute, and the CARICOM Secretariat in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture.
There is no doubt that agriculture still plays and will continue to play a major role in the social and economic landscape of Dominica. Agriculture still has the greatest potential in terms of contribution to GDP, income generation, provision of employment, sustenance of rural livelihoods, provision of social stability in our various communities, food and nutrition security, generation of foreign exchange, and poverty reduction. So agriculture has a great responsibility.
The main objective of the APP is to increase productivity of small farm holders with an overall aim of reducing poverty. The APP's objective is to provide critical support to enhance rural incomes, food security, and develop rural communities. In essence, it is a tool to ensure that the agriculture sector continues to thrive in Dominica and the rest of the region. The program consists of 3 components. Kent Coppell, ICA Technical Specialist, explains.
There are 3 major components of the APP: policy and strategy, which will be led by CARICOM, and its focus is on the action that supports and enabling an efficient national and coordinated regional policy environment. Applied research, which is led by CARDI, focuses on building human capacity, improving stock of genetic material, and transforming to climate-smart agricultural systems. And the 3rd component is enterprise development, led by ICA, focused on building capacities, instigating networking, enabling effective engagement with markets, and supporting creation of enabling environment for small producers and entrepreneurs.
Internationally, the first case of the Ebola has been diagnosed in the United States. A patient being treated at a Dallas, Texas hospital has tested positive for the Ebola virus, the first case of the disease to be diagnosed in the United States, federal health officials announced. Officials at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital said the unidentified patient is being kept in isolation and that the hospital is following Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommendations to keep doctors, staff, and patients safe. The patient is a Liberian national who was admitted on Sunday, a government official told Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera's Kimberly Halkett reports.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you.
A top public health official in the United States confirming what health officials had feared.
That an individual traveling from Liberia has been diagnosed with Ebola.
The diagnosis was made on Tuesday after doctors at a hospital in Dallas, Texas, began to suspect a patient was presenting signs of the disease. When leaving West Africa, the patient was not infectious, but once inside the United States developed a fever and became gravely ill. Based on the patient's travel history, authorities sent blood samples for testing and confirmed the diagnosis. Health officials stressed there's no need for public alarm.
The bottom line here is that I have no doubt that we will control this importation or this case of Ebola so that it does not spread widely in this country. It is certainly possible that someone who had contact with this individual, a family member or other individual, could develop Ebola in the coming weeks. But there is no doubt in my mind that we will stop it here.
It's not the first time patients have been treated in the U.S. for Ebola, but it is the first time a diagnosis has been made on U.S. soil. Previous cases involved a handful of healthcare workers who contracted the disease while working with infected patients in West Africa. They were flown to the U.S. for treatment and have recovered from the disease. As for this latest case, health officials stress the chance of U.S. residents contracting Ebola is low, as it can only be spread through close contact of bodily fluids. Still, health officials are now working to identify everyone who may have been exposed to this new Ebola patient. Kimberly Halkett, Al Jazeera.
Alton Nolan is being charged for first-degree murder after beheading a food plant worker in Oklahoma City. We hear more in this report.
Authorities in Oklahoma have charged 30-year-old Alton Nolan with first-degree murder in the grisly beheading of a Vaughn Foods plant worker last week.
He felt that he had been wronged by her or oppressed by her in some manner, and so he chose to attack her.
Colleen Hufford was killed in the attack, and her coworker, Tracy Johnson, was stabbed repeatedly but survived. Officials say Nolan had been suspended from the company just before he walked into the plant's administrative office on Thursday and attacked the women, uttering Arabic words. He was eventually shot by the company's COO, who was also a reserve sheriff's deputy. Nolan's family says he had recently converted to Islam. The prosecutor said while Nolan had some sort of infatuation with beheadings, the killing appeared to have more to do with his suspension than his recent conversion. The FBI is also investigating. Emily Roseman, The Associated Press.
Now the weather. The skies today will be bright and sunny along with the patchy clouds. Temperatures are expected to reach a high of 31 degrees and a low of 26 degrees. Winds will blow from the east at a speed of 10 to 15 miles per hour. This evening, we should expect cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers. That's it for ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us at 6:30 and 7 p.m. for our evening news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage.